Hi cuties, this is Shravya Pawar and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be dealing with a special session that will be of two parts, and both of them comprises of common mistakes women as well as men do when they are trying to date something new. This topic was touched upon by me and my best friend so many times that I felt I should bring it to notice to everybody else, because it's the most common of the things that we forget to take little note on, and notice it way before it gets too judgmental or dramatic. Alright, so let's get into the topic. And the first video will be about how women should be in a dating position, and the second one will be about how men should be in the dating game. Right, so let's hop on. Okay, when it comes to dating in this era where most people talk about Tinder and Bumble and whatnot, can we at least take a minute to consider how dating used to happen way before this existed? Because dating did not involve two people going out on a fancy dinner, but it also involved mutual respect, mutual understanding, mutual agreement upon seeking the perfect partner for yourself. If you are a person who wants to seek on the longer run a partner who is very understanding and understands your love language, and also trying to get you, you should be able to focus on what matters to you most, and that will comprise of the major topics that I will be covering in this video. The first topic is getting to know the person you're going on a date with. It doesn't happen altogether, spontaneously, but it does develop over time. So the person you are trying to date, suppose if that person is someone you know from before, it's very easy for you to actually understand what they are. And you have seen them very often here and there, if they're your colleagues, if they are somebody you know from way before, it works fine with you. But for people who doesn't know um the person you are going on a date with, for example, if somebody set you on a blind date, you should definitely take your time to get to know the person better. I am not saying to pop the man with a huge questionnaire and quiz and can you tell me this, can you tell me that. Try to be a little interested in what the other person is saying and vice versa, because at the end of the day you will be deciding how you're gonna feel only on the basis of what that person is making you feel, on the inside. So when you talk about going out with a person, and suppose you're sitting on a table together, try to read their language, try to read their manners, the way they speak to the waiters, because those are the little things that actually matter on the longer run, because this person will be treating you right. And when you go on noticing the smaller details, like in the smaller things, a lot of unspoken or untold mysteries come forward. For example, I once went out with a person. I mean, I'm not saying it's a date, but I went out with a person, and even my best friend was there. One of my best friends was there, and it so happened that the person I was with told me not to scream a lot. And the screaming was a very genuine gesture, because I was out shopping and I really liked something, and there was only one piece of it, and I was really in awe of this boots that I saw. And when the person told me, I immediately put a reminder in my brain that if somebody is not letting you be the very person you are, honestly, then I don't think you should go forward and take things forward with them. So these are the little silly little things that matter to you, that you should worry about. And yeah, by saying that, getting to know a person in a very intimate way, in a very story telling way, is the best way to go about it. You don't have to ask them questions about, can you tell me about your ex, can you tell me about your past, can you tell me how many times you've paid in the date. No, you have to be reasonable on the first date, because ladies and girls and women, this is how it is in real world right now. Most of the time what happens, you get stood out, or most of the time you just, we want to be understood, but it takes a little time, to adjust and acquaint yourself with the person you're going out with. So I wouldn't recommend any of you, before getting to know the person better, to take any huge leaps forward. Okay, it may be overpaying, it may be you gift him too much on the second date or third date, or you know maybe, all I want to say is, until it is your monkey, don't let the monkey inside your circus. So that is what I'm talking about. And the next thing we'll be talking about is very crucial, that is setting clear boundaries with the person you're going out with. It so happened that once, when I was talking and became very close with a guy, they threatened my best friend that they will take me away from them. And thankfully, I supported my best friends because they came first. Imagine if this happens, it's a very huge red flag, right? So, if you, unless and until you go forward and tell the person your priorities on the third date, or once it gets starts getting serious, then the person is gonna think this boundary is not clearly set by you. It can be in terms of the time you take, it can be in terms of the priorities. For example, it may be, if your best friend called you, you should be able to pick that call, and the person should not feel offended, even if you're at a dinner, even if your guys are out together. Before this happens, you should be a step forward and telling the person that, look, so and so, this is what my priorities are, and even if you are there or not there, I don't give a shit. This is the person I'm giving my priority to. Clear cut. No way next in your life they're gonna question you for what you had said earlier. But if you bring it up after a year saying ki, you know what, this is my best friend, can you please get some space, the person will feel defensive and offensive at the same time. Like, they're like, you didn't have this problem then, why do you have it now? So instead of that, make a clear boundary about your space, your priorities, your time. And also, please don't waste the other person's time also. Be it any guy, you have to consider their feelings altogether. You can't say, okay fine, I'm gonna see this guy and then next time I'm gonna see this guy. No, that is not the way things work. You have to make sure where your feelings are leaning towards, so that you have to be compassionate and empathized towards the person you are dating. You can't leave them hanging. It is not elegant people do. It is not what classy people do. You have to understand and realize that no matter what position you are in, the person you will be dating is giving you a lot of time of their own. So please don't mess with other person's feelings unless and until you are very clear on that. That is also a form of boundary, what I'm talking about. And the next thing we'll touch upon is what you're gonna speak, what are you going to speak to that person, is directly dependent on that person has a leverage towards you. If you're on a first date, I wouldn't ever recommend anybody to actually open their entire life history, entire past, entire exes, entire relationship, situationship, whatever it is, ladies. Do not go forward and be the first person to open up so much that the person is going to judge you right then and there. Save some space for mystery, become the mystery woman the person wants to go out on a second date with. Because on the first date, what you guys should be focusing on instead is trying to tell the person what you love, trying to tell the person what you feel about them, trying to tell the person, you know like then and there, right? So it should happen on its own with the flow, rather than planning every single thing. Like, I'm gonna ask him this, I'm gonna ask him that, let him ask me this, I'm gonna answer it in this way. Rather than, if it just happens with the flow spontaneously on its own, it's very good. Because that way you won't be hindering about, oh, I forgot to ask him this, I forgot to ask him that. So make sure that the feeling that you will be dealing with is very mutual and serious before you take any huge decisions of liking the guy. So it should stem from the heart, it should be rooted that you actually like this person. Otherwise, do not waste your time, do not waste the other person's time. And ignoring major red flags. As I mentioned earlier, ignoring major red flags doesn't only mean that it's stemming from the other person you're dating. Sometimes it can be from you itself. Sometimes you don't feel comfortable. Sometimes you feel like they are not understanding you. And yet you choose to be in the position, force yourself into that position and be like, I'm on this date, let me just try to deal with it. No. If you are feeling comfortable, be very honest about it and say it, rather than giving the guy the clue, like, you know what? You still haven't got why I'm, being very uncomfortable, why I'm acting all weird. Like, do not give men puzzles, all right? Men need proper, straightforward communication. That is what they expect from us on the longer run, as well as us on the future, in the future. Because you can't telepathically connect to some person. It's not unagi you're talking about, guys. It's not. So you have to be clear cut about what you're feeling, instead of being a weird pain in the ass to the person you're dating. I mean, no offense, don't take it offensively. I'm just saying it out of the fact that I have seen people who doesn't want to date that person, who doesn't want to be in a situationship, who doesn't want to be in that relationship. They're still there. They're still there. Even though they are the problem, they're still there. So why do you put yourself in such trouble if you don't want to stay at a place? Move forward with it, make it mutual, make it understanding, just communicate and move on. Guys like honesty in girls. And if you are very honest about something, if you are really sure about what you want, that is the most attractive thing you can find in women. Because a woman who knows what she wants will never forget how she'll be treated. Okay. So yeah, that's another thing that we should be very concerned about. And the next thing is, I don't know if this is women, this most of the women's trait, but I feel it is. Oftentimes women are a little bit hopelessly romantic than most of the men, I can say. I mean, I'm not sure, because I have had experiences where women are really romantic. And I've also had to hear stories where women are like, you know what, I'm gonna make his birthday special, you know what, I want to like gift him this, gift him that, I want to make this cuties, and I want to like gift him flowers and whatnot. And what they got in return was just a birthday cake with a candle on top. I mean, I am not saying that this shouldn't be happening. I am just saying that most of the women expect a lot of things, and sometimes this can become a little bit unhealthy for the men in the dating game, because men rarely, uh, understand if they're brought up well, and also sometimes if they self teach themselves about, how to treat a woman, how to be in a relationship. If their past relationships have been very toxic, men actually know how to treat women. But women often, not all women, but some women often go the next step forward and ask for men to give them gifts. And giving him a hint is fine, but you go and be like, why didn't you text me, where were you, why didn't you pick my call, why can't you pick my call when I just call you at the same time? And there have been instances where I have seen and heard and noticed that women complain too much about the way men do things. I It's very weird, because I personally feel that women should not be doing that. So, girls, what is your opinion on this? Please leave it in the comments, because I'm really not sure how this should happen. Oftentimes, I've seen people complaining about, my boyfriend games a lot, my boyfriend doesn't give me enough attention, my boyfriend is not giving me this, my boyfriend is not gifting me this thing on my birthday. But have you ever stood from that perspective and understand that you are not the only person in this entire world who is willing to work their ass off? Because if you're, unless and until you're doing the same thing for the guy, please don't expect anything in return from the guy. If you're giving your 100% in your relationship, like, it should be balanced, right? Like, it should not waver a lot. And even if it wavers a lot, it should be in the terms where you both know what is happening. Maybe the other person is in the difficult position, or you are in a difficult position. It's good, it's all good. And sometimes if you but sometimes if you are in a position where you're giving too much and you're not receiving, it becomes very suffocating. So, girls, if you think you are complaining too much, please think about it twice and analyze the things that are bothering you and be open to that person. Because, again, it's men or women, we can't treat feelings from the heart. If you're feeling it in your heart, please, be outspoken about it and communicate and then solve, rather than you know expecting it inside your heart. If you want flowers, just be open about it in your first, second, third date, so that by fourth date the guy knows you like flowers. If you like an ice cream, you'll be like, can we get ice cream, because I love it. Guys remember the smallest details. I know this because most of the people, even my brothers, they remember the smallest of details. Once I went out with my brother to buy butterscotch ice cream, and I told him I liked it, and from that day forward he has always offered me if I want to get ice cream sometime later. And this happens with all of my friends. If my friends know that I love chai, and there is no doodh in the fridge, they go like, they bring half-liter milk with biscuit and whatsoever, and they're like, let's like watch a movie or something. So men do clearly read and keep things in mind. It's only that if we come a step behind and see from a larger perspective that they are leading different responsibilities, they have their own life, that dating will be a lot more easier than expecting too much and keeping it in your heart. And the final thing, will be, since I am somebody who is just starting to grow out of my comfort zone and just starting to earn my bills. I understood one thing: do not overpay or do not underpay unless and until it's very necessary. For example, imagine you are dating someone you don't know, they're lethargic. You are dating someone you don't know, they're like that, and you make it a habit of, you know, doing cutsies like 50-50 on a first date, 50-50 on a second date, and a third date. I mean, if you think in a classy, elegant, etiquette way, in a chivalrous way, men are supposed to pay on dates. But now that the roles have been changed a little bit, women are getting jobs in elite places. Women are, being given the same place as men. We need to understand that sometimes it's okay if you split the bill. But if you are alone covering for the bill that both of the people went and ate together, I don't know what to talk about this. Like it's just basic necessity, okay? Women should be able to pay. If you're comfortable enough, that's fine. But do not ever, I mean, it's so much harder for you to earn your own money and pay your own bills. Is it better for you on a financial stability and investment manner that you go out of your comfort zone and provide for another human being? If that is you, then please feel free to go ahead. If you don't want to be that person, then rethink about where you're taking out your wallet, how much you're taking out of your wallet, and when will you be taking out of your wallet. So make these three things clear, so that next time when you go out and date a person, you don't have to spend so much of your hard-earned savings on two people. Because it should be, 50-50. It should always be a balance, rather than, I mean, it should be most of the time balanced rather than, you paying out of your pockets. So, by saying that, let's end today's video because it's a lot to take in. And, sit quietly, like think about, visualize the type of guy you want to date, and think about how you should be treated. Write down, what boundaries you need to set in front of the guy that you will be dating. And also think about how you're gonna behave in the entire relationship, and be a part of the entire relationship. Because women need to understand that it's as far as we go, it gets difficult to maintain every single thing in a relationship. And at the same time, women need to understand and communicate to the men they are with in the relationship that it should be you should be very transparent, we should be very transparent about what we have in mind, and if it doesn't suit us, we should be respectfully walking away. So by saying that, let's end today's video of part 1 of our series of dating, and I'll see you next video. Bye.